wait. The bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Vasaluta and welcome. Welcome. I haven't even poured my drink yet. Let me get myself together here. What a Tuesday it's been. So, you know, this whole thing with engagement on, and you've heard me talk about it. You've heard a lot of your favorite YouTubers talking about it. Engagement is so much more important now even than views. You don't get a view if you're not getting engagement. So, you know, at the risk of sounding like, you know, a terrible broken record, you know, hit that like button, drop a chat, you know, do whatever you can to help with the engagement, because that's what I was doing while the opening song was playing. I was engaging on someone else's chat. See, it's great. You get a little conversation going on your videos, and you get some back and forth going in between videos. That's the social part of this whole social media. At least that's what they call it. Anyway, it's Tuesday, so it's all about what you guys want to talk about. So tell me, what do you want to talk about? Let's start by saying hi to all of you all, starting with Big Al of Big Al Presents. We'll be hanging out with you on Saturday for Flight of the Navigator. Looking forward to that. I know I saw it. I think I even saw it in theaters, but I don't remember the details. I kind of feel like it was trying to be a little bit of an E.T. ripoff, but I don't know. Maybe I'll reevaluate that when we see it. Have a great show, my friends. Enjoy your liquid of the day. Thank you so much, my friend. Curtis says, howdy. So good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Prayers for you. I appreciate that. Going in for that MRI tomorrow, and I've had MRIs before. This is not a big deal. And it's funny that they go out of their way to try and make you feel better about it. And are you okay with being in confined spaces and loud noises? And yeah, I've been through serious stuff. I could deal with any of that, right? Yes, I want to get this taken care of. She calls, the nurse or whoever it is calls to give me the instructions and remind her and get there early, make sure paperwork's filled out and stuff. I said, she says, you remember you have an appointment? I'm like, yes, very eager. Well, no, I'm not eager. Not looking forward to it. It's not like I want an MRI because I enjoy it, but I want the results, so that's where the prayers would be. Let's pray that, in this case, it's not tell me what's wrong with my foot. I'm sure that's going to come. I want to know what I need to do to get it fixed. If I get a clear path forward, I'll be a happy camper. But, where I really need the prayers is, just got some news. It looks like I'm going to be losing a friend. And I'm not... at my age, unfortunately, you start dealing with these things a lot better. You take them in stride, but it's never a good thing. So that's where the prayers are needed. And I don't even know what you pray for. I don't even know what you pray for. Pray that she gets better. I don't think that's realistic. Pray for the family. I don't even really know her family all that well. I guess just pray for all of us in dealing with it, I suppose. That's the only thing. Hate to start on this kind of a downer note. I got some good news coming up, too. Let me get through saying hi to all of y'all first. Have some business to tend to, leaving a like. Pop back in later. Yeah, you can always catch it Memorex. You don't have to necessarily be here live. I understand that the lunchtime, sometimes people's lunches don't line up, and that's fine. That's fine. The idea of this is you don't specifically have to be here live. You can always just play it when you even play it the next day. Play the Tuesday talk on WTF Wednesday if you want. That works too. Jonathan Conroy says, hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show. Yes, that's important. Enjoy the show. None of that other stuff matters if you're not enjoying the show, right? Then hitting the like button is kind of like a lie, isn't it? I hate this show, but I'm going to hit the like button. JPRPH1, good to see you, my friend. Epstein Illuminati list. Hi, people. Who's ready for Fantastic Four? I couldn't care less. Sorry. That one is just not one I am interested in at all. I dropped out of the MCU pretty much right after Endgame. I had such a bad taste in my mouth from Captain Marvel being squeezed in there. You got to go see this. No, I didn't. You really didn't miss anything if you didn't see Captain Marvel. And then literally everything that's come after that has just been filler crap. So I have no interest in Fantastic Four. Especially don't appreciate the casting. They teased us with who was going to be playing Reed Richards, and they said, forget that. You're getting our boy who plays in everything. So I lost interest. Hey, Troy, my brother from another mother, and the chat. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and become a member. Yes, become a member, because that really is, well, let's face it, that's the only income this show gets, because the AdSense is like pennies. And we work so hard to not say the no words and not get our stream demonetized. But if it gets demonetized, we lose what? A nickel. Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's worth it to pay the nickel to say the no words. Last time I had an MRI since they offered music, I had to play AC/DC as I went. Shoot to Thrill was great in that enclosed space. I can imagine. That's just wild. I need a margarita in this 100-degree weather. Yes, drink refreshing drinks. We talked about. No, it wasn't this past Friday. It was the Friday before. We talked about a Bloody Mary. Bloody Marys are very refreshing too. Something to think about. Daiquiris. We'll talk about daiquiris. I should probably do that before the summer ends. I'll do that in August. I'll talk about daiquiris. But you gotta make them fresh. None of that mixed crap. It leaves this icky taste in your mouth. No. That's no good. No bueno. Kapla. Gorillas, Random Thoughts. Good to see you, my friend. And again, this encourages me too. I love seeing you guys talking to each other. That's the social aspect that I want to see. I really appreciate that. Don't forget to, in addition to everyone, I appreciate the like, share the stream, become a member, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you become members of each other's channels as well. Support each other. Together we grow. Brother Troy, pray to endure the things you cannot change. That's great advice. I appreciate that. To find the strength to change the things that you can, and the grace to know which is which. I've heard that. That's, I don't remember what it's called. It's the something prayer, the prayer of serenity or something like that. But I'll tell you, I know the difference between the two. I think I need the peace to be able to accept the things that I can't change. I know the things I cannot change, but I have to be able to be okay with not being able to change them. You know what I mean? It's like when something really terrible is happening and you have zero power to change it, you feel like there's got to be something to just know, nope, I know there isn't. You know, let me just be at peace with the fact that I can't. This is happening. Completely unrelated to my foot problem. About 6 months ago, I fell down the stairs. I wasn't seriously injured, but there's this point when you're falling. So everything's kind of moving in slow motion, and you're trying to think of anything you can do to prevent what is about to happen. And there is this point where you go, nope, I'm going to fall. There's nothing I can do for it. Best I can do is minimize the injuries. You got to kind of be that way in all the crisis situations, I suppose. Matanui says hi. Welcome, Matanui. Good to see ya. David Pensek says, make sure they don't detect that alien implant during your upcoming MRI. Well, see, I guess it depends on what kind of an implant it is. If these aliens use any kind of ferrous metals, this thing's going to get just yanked right out of my foot, right? By the magnets. But, if it's some sort of genetically engineered biological implant, maybe that wouldn't be as big a problem. They say you're not supposed to wear any metal jewelry because of this. And I'm like, this is not metal, but it is still magnetic. I probably shouldn't wear this. Although it's not, I'm not sure it's strong enough to be affected by an MRI. But this is hematite, which is a mineral. It is a non-ferrous, non-metal mineral that is actually still magnetic. It's one of the few things in the world that is magnetic and not metallic. Not to make light of your situation, Troy, but sometimes the dude abides. Yeah, you're right. I refer to him as the big cat at the top of the stairs, but that is true. That is true. Hello, Netter. I love you too. So good to see you. And yeah, let's get into it. So, good afternoon. So what have we got going on this week? I got some news. I haven't even had a chance to tell Netter. In fact, I went upstairs to tell Netter, and she was in a meeting, so I couldn't. So tomorrow night, look for me over on Doomcock's channel. I will be returning to Pop Culture Breakdown. Haven't gotten my marching orders yet, so I don't know what we're talking about just yet. But I have been recalled to Xanadoom to do my duty for the Overlord. So I hope you all can. Last time, you guys all did a great job. You showed up, you dropped the chats, you said hi to me, which that lets Doomcock know that I'm a worthwhile guest to have on, that I bring an audience with me. So I super appreciate that, and I hope you will do that again tomorrow night. I believe that's like at 7:30 Central, I think. I actually don't remember what the start time is, but yeah, hope to see you there. It was a lot of so I've been on Doomcock's channel twice now. It's been fun both times. So yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, so what do you guys want to talk about? Today's Tuesday. I saw some talk about Fantastic Four. A lot of scuttlebutt around that. We got Kevin Feige still trying to, claim, maybe we just need to do less movies. No, you need to do less bad movies, more good movies. We got this superhero fatigue. People don't get fatigued by franchises. They get fatigued by bad movies. Look at, for example, and this is a genre I'd like to see come back. I'd like to see more Westerns come back. You know why Westerns went away? There are some classic, just brilliant Westerns. But there are a ton of terrible Westerns. They just cranked out Western after Western after Western. What's the mentality? Oh, cowboys, guns, and horses. Those make money, so just keep putting those out. Yeah, no, that's not the winning formula. You got to engage the audience or they don't come back. You have to change your last name to Jefferson because you are moving on up. Yeah, I'd almost have to completely change the lyrics of that song because moving on up to the east side, you're assuming city, nearest city is Chicago. There is no east side of Chicago, despite what that one song says. Anyone who says the east side of Chicago, is in the lake. And to a deluxe apartment in the sky, I don't care if it's the whole floor, decked out, mansion style. I will not live in an apartment ever again. If I don't own the property, I'm not. No. But I do appreciate the sentiment. I know what you meant. I just take things a little too literally. Don't be the guy who went into the MRI machine, stopped, and went off, and he was shot. And it went off, and he was shot. I think I'm missing some shade of meaning there. I'm not getting it. Let's talk about new chapters in life, like how to handle being laid off. Yeah, I hate to say it, but this is almost the same kind of thing as what I was just sharing about the falling down the stairs or whatever. When you realize that you can't do anything about it, it is what it is, so you have to just adapt. When I was falling down those stairs, I just, protected my head and neck. Tried not to break any limbs, and I did pretty good. When you get laid off, I mean, I've been pretty blessed in those circumstances. I got the two of us here that, can kind of work together. This is also why Netter and I have avoided getting jobs at the same companies anymore. We've done that a number of times. And after twice, no, I take that back. Once she was laid off from a company we were both at, and I kept my job, so she was able to get herself into a new position. When they then laid me off, I went and worked at the company she was at, but then the coof hit and we were both laid off at the same time. That was a little scary, I got to be honest with you. But that is, I suppose, the situation that people find themselves in when they're a one-income kind of situation. I would say, Curtis, what you do is you evaluate your circumstance. What is your need? What is your goal? And go after it. I know that's way oversimplified and to the point of sounding trite, but it is what it is. It's literally what you got to do. I don't know. Evaluate your finances, decide what you need, and seek out whatever you need to do to make that happen. Thankfully, I'm in a situation where, because we still are a one-income household, that allows me to try to build this channel. I've got that. You got to almost consider it a luxury, whereas that may not be a reasonable idea for you, because it may take months or even years to get your channel built to the point where it is financially lucrative enough to literally be able to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? So you might have to put your attention elsewhere. And now Troy's up in the big leagues. Not yet, not really. I get to enjoy the dugout once in a while. But I am not. I am a guest in the dugout. I am not actually on the team or owner of the team. Not yet. As long as he lives, I'll watch him streaming. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm good with that. That's what I'm talking about with rewriting the lyrics. Which, honestly, this isn't even a Big Al thing. I've always been this way. I'm always, rewriting lyrics in my head to fit a circumstance. Sometimes it makes Netter laugh. Sometimes she's like, "Are you okay?" This guy went into an MRI room with a gun. Oh, see, that's the part I was missing from the story. And it went off and he got shot. This is why they say don't bring anything metal into the MRI with you at all. It kind of goes without saying, Gosh, now that I even think about it, yeah, I know they make you change and they put your stuff in a little box or whatever. I'm going to just make sure that I have some sort of a bag or satchel just to put all my stuff into. It's that much easier before I even get there. Yeah. What is that line from Heartbreak Ridge? Overcome, adapt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to be like a Marine, I suppose. Carton, remember Ambassador Kalar traveling in a Class 9 probe on an important mission. Kalar can do it, so can Carton. Yeah, that's right. So a Class 9 probe is literally a torpedo. So think about it as it's a coffin. I mean, we saw what torpedo tubes, or what a torpedo looks like in Star Trek 2, right? They put Spock into it and shot him into space, right? And that's basically what a probe is like. And when Kalar was going to the Enterprise, they put her into a Class 9 probe, which is basically a torpedo, and shot her into space, and she was picked up by the Enterprise. Yeah, it's not a problem. As long as I can breathe, and let's face it, that thing is open to the open air. There's good ventilation. I don't care how, tight it is, I mean, look, I get it. People that, if you were really buried alive, there is a real danger there. You could suffocate. The ground could crush in on you and you'd be crushed to death. I mean, all of that is terrible stuff, and there is no way for you to get yourself out of there. Inside an MRI machine, you're surrounded by metal and plastic that is not going to collapse on you at all. It's the roof could cave in, and you'd probably be the one protected, right? If the thing gets stuck, they can manually push me out. It's not like I'm in any danger. These aren't things that even go through my head. It's like, we've got a problem. We can't get you out. Are you ever going to be able to get me out? Well, yes, it'll take us a little while. Okay, I'm going back to sleep. And the staff didn't know, and the magnet set the gun off. Yeah. Well, I would think, depending on how it's oriented, and especially think about it. If it's a Glock, right? So let's say it's a ceramic and plastic body, and the most ferrous metal is the lead in the bullets. It doesn't need a propellant. The magnet is the propellant. Yeah, that would be bad. Those are very, very strong magnets. There's no doubt about it. Bone! Haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Good to see you. Dropping a like from work. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I super appreciate it. Applying for all the benefits I can, surrounding myself with my support group. Sounds like you're off to a good start there. And yeah, from now, I will start applying mainly for jobs I actually want at this point. I am thinking I need to start streaming more. So that is the other side of this coin, right? You are out of work. You spend all the time that you can applying for, jobs you're looking for and so forth. In the meantime, you are going to have a great deal more free time. You have 8 hours every day, maybe more if you had some sort of a commute. So you could apply all of that into streaming and making standalone videos. And you must start making some standalone videos. Pre-record some stuff, put them up. I've actually been very bad about that because I stream so much. I leave myself very little time for editing and putting together videos, but they are very important in driving engagement. So definitely need to be doing more of that if you can. Who is up for a watch party of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy this afternoon or after Blake 7? Wow, that's an interesting idea. I won't be able to after Blake 7 because immediately after Blake 7, I am going to jump on to Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips' channel to wish him a happy birthday. He's going to be streaming this evening, and I'll be missing most of it because of the regular Tuesday stuff. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on your channel, see when you go live, and see if I can drop in for any length of time. Thank you so much from Nate. He gives me, drops a $1.99 to give a thumbs up. He's actually giving me $2 to do a thumbs up. I super appreciate that, my friends. And yeah, and you know what? And speaking of the watch parties and what we got coming up this week, let's take a real quick look at what's coming up this week, because it's about mid-show. So here we go. Give me 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together. This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, an actress begins to adopt the persona of her character in a film as her world becomes nightmarish and surreal. Join us for the second half of David Lynch's Inland Empire, this Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
The United Planets of Teal and the Vandor Confederacy are at war. Now their two champions must do battle before the panel of arbiters to decide the outcome while the universe looks on. Simple enough. Except Tarrant's brother is the first champion of Teal and Servalan is the neutral arbiter. It's Death Watch. This Tuesday on Last Call presents Blake 7 at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
It's Thursday night, and Netters Network talks to the streamers who have everybody talking. It's Thursday Things, Thursdays at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Netters Network.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, David is 8 years late for dinner, and the U.S. government wants to know why. Come along on the greatest adventure of the summer. It's Flight of the Navigator. This week on Big Al Presents Films with Friends. Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Papa Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
We now return to our Liquid Lunch.
Curtis asks, why would you take a gun with you to an MRI? Ninjas. That's why. Netter says, some good advice. What services can be canceled? Do you need that high-priced phone plan, or can you downgrade? Do you need that club membership? Makes me think of that episode of Friends. I want to quit the club. I want to quit the club. Can you cut out unnecessary stuff? If you haven't cut the cord, and as far as cable goes, maybe now's the time. You got some streaming services. Maybe you can drop those. And if you do, and you're saying, but there's this show that I really, really like, talk to me. I'll maybe be able to help you out with that. Membership has its privileges. It's easier to see where your money goes and how you can budget. If you want, I can help you with that. Just DM me. So there you go. What did I say? Membership has its privileges. You're one of the elite in crowd there, Curtis. I had it in an MRI last year, and I let the doctor know that in my left leg I had a rod of titanium, and he said that titanium was no problem. Yeah, maybe titanium is not a ferrous metal. I actually think that's one of the reasons that they use them in surgical implants, also because they are mostly non-reactive. In other words, they don't rust and they don't break down, from the body in the body. So yeah. Unless there is a catastrophic flood, you're fine. There you go. It's just like a real gun, which uses magnets to throw the projectile. Yeah, what do they call those? Mag rails, right? 12 extra hours now on some days. There you go. There you go. So just think through how can. So yeah, even though I said that maybe relying on or putting all your eggs in the basket of streaming isn't probably the way to go. You should be applying and trying to find yourself a new position. Take advantage of how can I use my time? Because any funds you can garner are good. Just remember that even without being funded on YouTube, you still can, just put a PayPal link into your description and say, hey, guys, I am not monetized. If you want to support me, that link is below in the description, which actually I don't even mention that as much anymore. That is always true. All of my descriptions contain that PayPal link if you want to maximize the ways in which you could support me. Because remember, when you super chat, I think it's like 33% of that goes to YouTube, whereas almost 100% of it, goes to us if you use the PayPal link. So just that's a thought too. I also like to if you want to buy me a drink, whether or not I actually buy a drink with it, but it's on brand, or tomorrow sometime. Yeah. A little bit better notice, unless you're just being really spontaneous. Yeah, I knew what you meant for Hitchhiker's Guide. Recently read a story where a guy went into an MRI. They didn't ask if he had any metal in him, and it happened to have, he had a Prince Albert. Yeah. That's, well, look, I'm a big proponent of, I shouldn't have to baby you. You got all the instructions. They told you should have no metal, no metal jewelry, right? That means rings. That means, piercings. Get rid of them. If you don't, you learn a lesson the hard way. Geek Flag is asking which Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the series or the movie? Oh, you're answering already. The movie with the guy that played Bilbo. Yeah, that's it. Never had cable in my life. That's good. My 2 subs are YouTube Premium and Amazon Prime. I'm thinking of canceling Prime, but I would miss the Tick, Reacher, and Fallout. Let's talk offline. There are ways. Did not know those were still... I knew about Reacher, but I didn't know... Well, Fallout... Nothing you could do until that comes out for the new season anyway. So, maybe I'll consider doing like a Fallout watch party during the week when that starts up again. Members want to let me know what they think. Actually, maybe not even a members thing. Maybe just, a regular thing. I don't know. Something to think about. Curtis, if you have Disney Plus... that's an unnecessary expense, and that's a lot of streaming channels out there that are actually free. They just have commercials. I did not realize this until I'd been partaking of those channels for a while, that apparently the ad blocker that I use that blocks ads here on YouTube also blocks ads on Tubi and Pluto and all those other free streaming services. So those are ad-free too for me. So, something to think about. Let's see. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, do all the things. Thank you, my cheerleader. Well, if you had a Prince Albert, that means he was a dumbass in the first place. Yeah, that's a dumb thing to do in the first place. There's no logical reason for that. You should not be bringing needles into that area that are not 100% absolutely necessary. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? Well, if you do, why don't you let him out? Philo is $20 a month, and you can get most of the cable channels, just no sports channels. But it also sounds like Curtis isn't really interested in any of the standard cable channels. He's interested in the stuff that's on streaming. And I'll be honest with you, I have Amazon for a completely different reason. I almost never even watch what's on Amazon Prime. I did watch Fallout when I realized I had access to it. But other than that, I'm not even aware of what's on Amazon to check out. There you go, gorillas. The community will help you find the shows you want to watch. You don't need to be spending your money on the streaming services. Just saying. I really do think this streaming model has to change. It really does. I think it's a money-losing proposition for most of these companies. I think they need to change it to primarily a commercial venture. I think, for example, if Disney made all of their content free, if they made Disney Plus a free service with commercials, they would get a whole lot more traction. Basically get back to the network television concept. If you don't do that, you're going to lose out in this internet age. It's a very serious problem. Look, people aren't even watching your streaming services anymore. They're going to YouTube for their entertainment because it's effectively free for them. And even that, they consider, paid for by ads. But obviously, once again, that's only the biggest channels. The small channels really do rely on you. I feel like I'm in constant PBS mode, doing the pledge drives and stuff. But that really is the business model, unfortunately. It really, really is unfortunate. But so last night we watched Sunset Boulevard. On the members of the channel watched Sunset Boulevard with me, which is a great tie-in to Inland Empire, which we will be watching the second half of tonight on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates. And then next week we will be doing a deep dive on the what the hell we watched. What exactly was Inland Empire all about? Don't understand. I get it. I get what's going on. I will do my best to break it down and explain it, but it's some pretty heady, trippy stuff. I just find it interesting that David Lynch always said that Eraserhead was the most spiritual movie he'd ever done, when I think that Inland Empire is literally a spiritual film. From a transcendental meditation and Buddhist religious perspective. Nate says there's a lot of movies and TV shows on Amazon Prime. I watched a movie on Amazon Prime last night called Night Hunter. It's from 2008, and it starred Henry Cavill. It was a really good thriller. I'll have to look into that. It's funny, the way I find so many of my what do you call them? Are we, why do I not see the chat? You guys, I assume, see the chat. Let me refresh my screen. Why is the chat not showing up? There's the chat. Okay. Yeah, the way I find a lot of movies now, and this is probably not the best marketing method, but I guess it's effective. I do run into a lot of like sleeper films and movies I hadn't heard about before because of these little clips that play in the shorts, the YouTube shorts, and sometimes you see them on X and whatnot. And unfortunately, you see this little clip and you're like, that looks really interesting. I'd like to see this movie. But it doesn't say what the movie is. And you got to read through the chat before someone says this is such and such from whatever year and whatnot. It's like, why the hell didn't the person that posted this do that? You know? I've seen a lot of good movies that way. And a lot of times free. You know, I'll look up the movie. Oh, it's on Tubi or whatever. You know? Welcome, Final Fantasy Fan 12. Says, or is it 012? I don't know how I should verbalize that. He says, hey everyone, welcome my friend, good to see you. And of course Joe stops in to say, hi guys, good to see you. Heads of State with John Cena and Idris Elba, that was funny. That's on Prime, and I never would have watched it without Big Al's 5-word review on it. So there you go. Yeah, that's another great way to find out about. There's a number of films that I found out simply because Big Al did a review on it and either recommended it or at least made it sound good. I mean, like, well, I'll go check that. Look, I would have seen Ouija Shark if it weren't for Big Al doing a review on it. He did not recommend it, but I was curious enough that I still had to check it out, and we still talk about it to this day. Joe says, have you seen Justice League Gods and Monsters? It's an Elseworld tale, and Superman is Zod's son in a morally ambiguous dude. The whole world in this movie is effed up morally. I gotta be honest with you. Now, I heard about it. I have not seen it. It's one of those animated features, right? I have not seen it. I'm actually getting really kind of tired of the Superman as bad guy trope. I honestly feel like the whole superhero genre was kind of ruined when people decided that The Dark Knight Returns was the end-all be-all and wanted everything to be like that. That's how we got the Snyderverse. That's how we got Brightburn and what was that one with Wilson Hancock and The Boys. I'm kind of done with that. If nothing else, those cautionary tales are why Superman has to be truth, justice, and the American way. Because anyone with that level of power who didn't have a no-kill rule and just Captain White bread, you know, perfect Boy Scout, would be an existential horror, you know. Let's see. In fact, I will say this. I probably actually have it on DVD. I have a lot of those DC animated features on DVD and haven't even watched them because I got them as like door prizes and stuff at a bunch of the Metropolis Superman celebrations that I went to. See, you're doing good for your fellow geek there, Big Al. I am generally a fan of Elseworlds, but the slew of multiverse stories is wearing thin on me. Booger, I couldn't agree more. Oh, by the way, Booger. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, no, I agree with you. But I got to be honest with you. For all the good Elseworlds, there was a lot of bad ones. I think what bothered me the most about, and I collected a lot of them. I would get them because the cover was cool and the concept was good. The execution, not always so much. I'll give you a for instance. There was an Elseworld called Darkest Night. And it was the what if Bruce Wayne had been the one who got the Green Lantern ring rather than Hal Jordan. So it starts out with a really cool premise. Of course, the cover of it is Batman. He's on the cover. If I remember correctly, he was in a famous Superman pose because he's flying, right? But he's dressed with the black and dark green instead of the Batman costume. And he's got that ring, right? And the origin being, he's going through the whole Batman origin, but that whole thing where he's sitting by the window trying to decide, what he needs to do, and the bat flies in, that whole famous trope. Well, at the same time that the bat flies through, the image of Abin Sur comes to him through the bust of his father and says, Bruce Wayne, you are needed, or whatever, and he gets called and given the ring and so forth. So when he takes the ring, the uniform takes a more Batman-esque sort of appeal to it. And I'm like, I'm all for this. And the overarching story being that he spends so much time focused on, his Batman mission that he's not taking care of Sector 414 or whatever it is that... I think I just screwed that up. I think I combined that with Marvel. But whatever sector it is that Earth is in for the Green Lantern Corps. And they send the Green Lantern Corps to take the ring back from him. And his willpower is so strong because he's Batman that he ends up trouncing the entire Green Lantern Corps. So the Guardians actually give power rings to Superman, Wonder Woman, and I can't remember who the other superhero... Oh, and the Flash. And they have to stop Batman. And they kind of fight to a standstill. And they finally, say, well, wait a minute. Why are we fighting each other? It's like, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash, powered with the Green Lantern rings, could take care of the entire sector. Batman could focus on Earth. And that's how they resolve it. Overall, great story. The problem is that in the minutia, they had to do this amalgamation of all the Green Lantern, Hal Jordan villains and the Batman villains. So you end up with like a Star Sapphire Catwoman thing. I actually don't remember what all it was. It was actually kind of dumb. They did the same thing with Superman, Batman Speeding Bullet, where what if Kal-El's rocket landed, in on the Wayne's property, and they adopted Clark instead of having their own child, so he ends up becoming Batman. He goes through the exact same origin story, goes to the movies with his parents. His parents are killed. And then he just wastes Joe Chill with his heat vision. Heat vision he didn't know he had until that moment. So it was a complete accident. And he is traumatized by this. Not only that his parents died, but that he just killed a man. So he goes through the whole thing and the Batman and whatnot, and he decides to become the Batman. But he's got the powers of Superman to do it. So it's, again, a cool idea. Unfortunately, again, they amalgamate all the villains in ridiculous ways. And it's like, this I don't believe would the one change would not have an impact on the villains. He would have both sets of villains. He would be fighting Lex Luthor and the Joker, not Lex Luthor as the Joker. It just, anyway. Don't get me started. You did. You already got me started. Let's see. Trying to get through this quick because we're running out of time here. In Darkest Night. Oh, one of my favorites until the ending when the JLA is essentially the GL Corp. Yeah, it was good logic in story, but bad execution. That's really what I'm getting at with all of that. Has anyone read about DC Universe? Again, in that Superman is a depressed dude, but is hopeful as well. He is a class hero in that. Absolute Batman is a murdering psycho. Yeah, I think DC is desperately in need of getting back to its roots. I think they need to, and honestly, the more I'm thinking, it could very well be that this James Gunn verse, even though I didn't like this movie for a number of reasons that I've outlined much to everyone's annoyance, there is great potential there if they tend to go down that way. I want to see more of the Silver Age stuff. I want to see more of the childlike innocence of the stories, and a little bit less of this dark, gritty. We need to get away from that. It always used to be that Marvel was the realistic, relatable, sometimes dark, oftentimes anti-heroes. That was Marvel. And DC was always comic book, and I think both need to get back to what they did and what they used to do right. I've watched the Star Wars OG trilogy lately because I've seen the prequels enough times, and watching those movies and playing a bit of KOTOR, it got me in the idea of a Star Wars role-playing game. Yeah, tabletop RPG, yeah. I'll have to tell some stories about my old Star Wars RPG. In fact, as I do my custom action figures, I'm doing some custom action figures inspired by the role-playing game. This is why I fear the upcoming Supergirl movie won't be good, because Gunn is focusing on Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which completely contradicts everything Superman stands for. I agree. Leatherwing, where Batman is a swashbuckling pirate. And Catwoman is Contessa. Yeah, sometimes those stories are a lot of fun, too. It's taking the superheroes and throwing them into a completely different genre. Then, you can do whatever you want with it. That's a lot of fun sometimes. Yeah. I love the Flash comics, and the TV show was good for a few seasons. I hear the film was trash, but haven't seen it. And if you haven't seen it, check out the John Wesley Shipp series. I have it all on DVD. That's some good stuff, too. That is the 1 hour mark, guys. I want to be sensitive to your time. Next up, of course, is Live from Sparkwood in 21 tonight at 7:30 on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates. And, of course, tomorrow, after WTF Wednesday on Liquid Lunch, in the evening, watch for me on Doomcock's channel. And that will wrap it up. My friends, I super appreciate you guys. Thank you for sharing your lunch with me today. Now get back to work. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Where's my outro? There it is.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.